Body bags were horror lies.
What is up, y'all? Dubbles back at it again, actually with another review on body bags. Guys, I just want to say thank you so much for having me back. That was quite a fucking honor, guys. Some of the body bags greats are back for this week. So, and if you don't know and haven't chimed in this week, it is OG versus remake. So all the OG body bag members will be back for one special episode reviewing an original film. Next week you'll have your normal rotation of the current body bags host, and they'll be holding down the remakes. So of course I had to do one of my all-time favorites. I want to hear the thoughts on the remake of this one, which is pretty recently remade, and that is of course is Dario Argento's Suspiria. Also got the Synapse Blue. Definitely check that version out. Fantastic release. Just had this one handy. But yeah, so basic plot, of course, following Jessica Harper's character, who is known as Susie in the film. She is going to a dance studio, a ballet school, if you will, in Upper New York. And of course, when she comes to this so of course follows young Susie, who's an American ballet student, going to this prestigious European dance school. And of course when she arrives there, shit hits the fan. Now immediately from the intro you have one of the most iconic scenes and kills, of course, I think, in my opinion, the chase scene. If you see this student who ends up perishing by being stabbed and then hung, but in a very artistic style. Of course, you've heard of the artistic style of this film. In my opinion, one of the most beautiful films shot in general. Love the uses of reds and blues, the color tints. Of course, I can go on and on about that. But the opening shot and just that spiraling staircase really sets up what you're about to get into. And then, of course, something else that factors in to the very beginning of this movie that I feel like it delivers most of the film is Goblin's amazing score. Huge fan of Goblin. They've done some great scores. Phenomena. Go on and on. Tenebrae is probably one of my all-time favorite they've done, or even Profondo Rosso, also known for Deep Red. But this one is the most jarring soundtrack and the one that adds the most to the film itself, I think. A lot of them are just catchy scores, and they do some really great stuff. Not taking away from anything they've done, but this score for this film is so powerful and moving. It adds to the whole suspense and fear. Just really experimental score in this, man. It's a driving force of this film. It's really just adds up the anticipation throughout this film. Pretty basic plot in this. This chick befriends another student there, Susie, and they're basically trying to figure out what's going on. This place is not quite the same, and of course I think it's given much away as there might be some witches that belong to the school. In particular, Madame Suspirium. The three mothers. Of course, this is part of a trilogy. We won't go into all that. I feel like a lot of you guys know a lot of this film, but I'm just going with my positives of this film. I have a lot of hard times finding negatives in this film. This is one I've always kept special to me. I haven't overly watched this film. I've still seen it over half dozen times. Still my all-time favorite. But like I said, I like to keep it special. There's just something about this I can still go back to it and still have that effect. I like to then take a lot of other films and then come back to your favorites and see how it just lives up. And this one still does for me. Just beautifully shot, made film, just in all aspects. You can go into the Technicolor aspects where he uses cameras that were actually used for Disney films, Snow White and stuff, that inspired his fairy tale like stuff. But to me, this is a beautiful horror film, but it also has true horror to it. I think there's actually some creepy scenes, some cool makeup effects, and some pretty decent gore here and there. I think people sell it short on the horror side of it. They talk about just how beautifully shot it was, or the score, or what else, that kind of thing. But I think there's still a lot of substance to this horror film. The atmospheric shots, all that stuff encapsulates into the full experience that is Suspiria. Definitely one of those films you need to crank the hell up as loud as it'll go, basically, and just sit back and take a ride, man. This Suspiria, God, it's one of my all-time favorites. Psychedelic masterpiece, in my opinion. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. You just can't talk enough about just the cinematography and just how this film was shot. I feel like it's very important. Influence so many other horror films to come. They'll compare just the color palette alone of this film, not to mention just the other aspects. Love Suspiria, one of my best all-time films that I've seen in theaters. I got to relive and actually see this one in theaters, 4K transfer, Knoxville Horror Fest. Fantastic, man. Never disappointed with Suspiria. Definitely check this one out if you haven't. I feel like it's still pretty well known by the hardcore horror community, but the casual horror fan and people who might like horror or just now getting into horror, they might not know this one. It took me a little while to stumble across this one, and I was glad I did. Definitely check out new films, guys. Never hurts to go out there. But yes, thanks again for having me back. Body Bags, still live and kicking, holding it down. Of course, you can check me on my personal channel, Dubbles, and we are part of the Cinema Attack podcast, part of the Horror Affiliate Network. So please check me out there, and as always, support the Body Bags crew and all the other cool OG reviewers and the current reviewers. Peace.